On the DOGE refund check, if President Trump asked you, is that a good idea to send checks to Americans, the equivalent of stimulus checks, refund checks, dividend, whatever you want to call them, you would tell him yes, no, what?
Oh, sure. It's a great idea. At exactly what number or something is something that we negotiate with Congress. But remember, what happens is they appropriate money and then we spend it on really silly things. And then we say, hey, we're really not going to spend it. And so then they can rescind the money. And they can take some of the money and they can use it to reduce the deficit. They can take some of the money to put it in people's accounts, to return it as a tax cut. Those are all things that will be on the table.
DOGE stimulus check creator confirms that the checks are coming soon, guys. Now, he also clarifies the eligibility of those who receive Social Security benefits. Massive. The host of The View gets so worked up, which results in a shouting match. And the Democrats, they made a huge mistake by having Tim Walz speak for the party once again. Now, I hope you guys are ready for a jam-packed video because we're going to go ahead and start off with James Fishback, all right? By the way, if you guys appreciate the updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So check this out. James Fishback, he's the creator behind the proposal to provide $5,000 DOGE dividend checks to Americans. And he has just confirmed that he's already discussing how they can proceed, citing that he's already in talks with several lawmakers who are optimistic about a formal bill being introduced very soon. So here's Mr. Fishback on Dr. Phil's podcast talking about these DOGE stimulus checks. Watch.
We have an administration that is very much anti-regulation, pulling back fiscal spending and so on. And so the last point I would make on this is that it's not new to send folks a refund check. In fact, we do it every year. It's called the tax refund season. And just last year, we sent 100 million Americans a check of about $3,100 on average, and there was no spike in inflation. So I would say that, when you look at polling data on this, 70% of Americans say they would use a check like this to pay down debt. Paying down debt is not paying down a four-wheeler or going out and buying a new flat screen TV. It is shoring up your family's finances after 4 difficult years. And that's exactly what I trust Americans will do. And I trust them to be better stewards of that 20% than Washington.
In an interview with Newsweek, James Fishback also had this to say. I have ongoing discussions with folks in the administration, and I've had ongoing discussions with folks on the Hill. I spoke with 6 U.S. senators this past week and continue those conversations to get feedback, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. The next step is there's going to be a bill, and the bill's coming very soon. Now, this is something that has the full support of President Donald Trump, although DOGE will have to find even more cuts in order to be able to provide $5,000 stimulus checks. But as we're seeing right now, there's a lot of places where savings can be made, especially as investigations are showing that a lot of federal workers don't even show up for their jobs.
One of the things that we discovered pretty quickly was there was about 2,900 people that were supposed to work in the building. Turns out only 49 were showing up full time on a 5-day.
No, slow it down. 2,900 people. How many showed up?
On average, the highest that we saw on a 5-day work week was 49 people. And this would be at Fannie Mae. And Freddie Mac has a similar problem. We're going to fix it. President Trump hired a businessman to do this, and we're going to fix it for him.
James Fishback also asked about these stimulus checks and if those on Social Security will be receiving them, responding that these checks will be sent per household, which means that the proposal would definitely have checks sent to those who are receiving Social Security benefits. He also added this: if you file a federal income tax return, if you pay federal income tax, which is to say that you worked, you would receive a DOGE dividend check. That individual and their household would benefit from this payment. Now, moving on, guys, the hosts of The View are now fighting with each other as the Democratic Party crumbles. It's now gotten to a point where they're visibly tearing each other down with their own narrative. And this comes after they had Senator Chuck Schumer on their show, a guy who most Democrats believe sold out their party.
Well, they're not listening to the rules anyway. Well, you're giving them a shutdown, which legally allows them to do exactly what they're doing right now.
And in a shutdown, veterans would be harmed. They wouldn't get their VA benefits.
They're already being harmed. No one is fighting for the American people, and it's feckless and it's weak.
Shutting down the government is not fighting for the American people. It costs the economy billions of dollars.
This man has destroyed so much in 1 month. Give it a minute. I think that
give them more time to shut stuff down.
I think that the Democrats are going to pull themselves together now.
As we speak, the courts actually stated that
every day there's some atrocity going on. Every day I wake up. What did he do today?
The courts just ruled that more than 20,000 federal workers have to be reinstated because what DOGE did was not lawful.
So, listen, be careful, because this is what they want. They want this fighting. They want this infighting. What's happening now Democrats don't have what they need to get what they want done. So again, people have to get out and you have to march. You have to start making noise.
That's right.
This is now coming back to us. The only way people are going to hear how angry you are is if you get out there.
But at least there's some self-awareness here that they're now turning on each other. And notice that Whoopi Goldberg called for protests while completely ignoring the fact that Elon Musk's company has been attacked multiple times. In fact, these protesters are literally burning down cars. But instead of toning down their rhetoric, Whoopi Goldberg and these hosts are doubling down. The fact is that many Democrats seem to be in favor of these violent protests because they want this nation to be divided. And even with all of the work that Elon Musk has provided, it just doesn't make him a good person. I don't know what's wrong with these people. That is, if you're looking at him with liberal eyes. And I want you guys to notice how Scott Jennings' co-hosts on CNN react to him as he slams them with the truth. Watch.
No violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
Let's do both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset. They're legitimately upset at Elon Musk, and they're doing it on their own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
For what I understand, the Teslas will fall apart if you just leave them alone anyway. Yeah. There's nothing really anybody really needs to do about it. Just drive them enough. Eventually, the things will start to just like
I do think
fall off the side. From what I've
Democrats continue to prove that they are the party of insanity and hate. Because why is it only Scott Jennings who's the one that's completely bothered by these attacks? And sure, they're giving us lip service by saying that these people should be put in jail. Sure. But then the very next second, they're trying to justify the violence by saying that they're legitimately upset. This is like a mirror image of what happened with President Trump last year. Instead of condoning violence after he was almost killed, some Democrats try to justify it. Some said it was only a matter of time until someone tried to shoot at him. And this is the Democratic narrative that we've heard for so long now, which will probably lead to decades of the party losing multiple elections. And guys, if that wasn't bad enough, we've now got to look at Governor Tim Walz back on the air. Now, I'm not sure why he's even out here talking about Tesla, but it's astonishing to see how clueless they are about the reality of the world. So here's Tim Walz laughing at the dropping of Tesla prices. Actually, it might be a good opportunity to buy some stocks. This is not stock advice, though.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So... And if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
He can say that they don't blame the people for buying a Tesla, although he should probably tell that to the countless number of vandals that are keying Teslas across the country. Now, the replies to Tim Walz's post on X, it says it all. One user, hating American companies is what the governor of Minnesota loves. Another one read, you are a disgrace. I worked at Tesla for over 4 years. I know many who still work there. Tesla is one of America's crown jewels, and you actively want it to fail. You should be ashamed of yourself. You don't deserve to be anywhere near public service, which means Tim Walz is actively going against what Americans want, wishing for Tesla stocks to tank. Really? Most people have Tesla stocks in their 401k portfolio. So you want to ruin Americans' ability to retire across America? What a complete idiot. And this is the kind of cluelessness within the Democratic Party that's dragging them down. It's also very clear that Tim Walz supports the destruction of these vehicles because that's putting a lot of pressure on these stock prices.
But we're also hearing it goes further than this. Reports of a potential doxing site existing that names and shames Tesla car owners. Is that credible? Do we have any more info on that?
Yeah, this is just starting to emerge, these reports that there's a website that's allegedly purporting to post the personal information of Tesla owners, names, addresses with a Molotov cocktail cursor feature over where these people live. So a potential doxing and harassing behavior there. And according to one report, that information can be taken down if the Tesla owner provides proof that he or she has actually sold the vehicles.
Now, we've yet to hear top Democrats condone these types of actions. I guess they're still enjoying it since this is a petty win for them. So here's my question. Would they respond the same way if this happened to a guy like, I don't know, Mark Cuban? Now, I want to redirect you guys to a recent live stream I did where I covered Cash Money Fani Willis. The Fulton County DA is now said to owe thousands of dollars as a judge ruled against her. Guys, make sure you guys check that out. As always, appreciate your time. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.